The Bengals won. They're going to the Super Bowl. That is insane. If I would have told you that at the beginning of the season, not a soul would have believed anybody. You would have been laughed out of the room.
With Joe Burrow coming off an ACL.
Laughed out of the room. They're going to the Super Bowl. Going to the Super Bowl. But it just felt a little off.
No, the last thing I want to say about the Niner.
Well, I said I'm an NFC guy.
Yeah, I know. Me too. We're for sure. But the last thing about the Niner Ram game, I think what gets forgotten after a game gets played, understandably, like you move on to the next thing, and the game was the game. The week leading up to the game, the week leading up to Niners Rams NFC Championship game was pretty sweet. You know, I saw a few of these like on Wednesday, Thursday, like, all right, the game could get here already. I usually don't feel that way, and I didn't feel that way this week. Like, let's just move the game up and get to it already. No, the build-up, it's why I tweeted it today, I love pregame warm-ups. I love the anticipation of a game, right? The hour leading up as the players are coming out, like all of that. And this is kind of your point on what the maybe Bengals Chiefs didn't have, partly because wrongly everyone thought the Chiefs were going to win, us included. But
I mean, I came around.
But
I text you $5,000. You should put $5,000.
And I was like, yeah, dude, we are idiots for not doing that.
You see the guy? I think the Action Network tweeted it out. Put $200,000 right before the game on the Chiefs money line, or maybe when they were up 21-3 and it paid out $10,000.
No,
paid out $10,000.
Wait. He put how much on the Chiefs?
When it was 21-3, he live bet the Chiefs $200,000 to win $12,000 or $10,000.
Are those bets even real? Who does that?
Well, you can't because you can live bet it like minus 1,000.
But who bets $200,000? That's somebody. I think insane.
Yeah, but if you have an unlimited amount of money, where could like you feel confident just in a 2-hour period that you can just make $10,000 on your money just like that? I wonder if you just look at it like you would bet on a stock. But the thing with football, and I would just say sports, it can turn on a dime.
And the Bengals had literally just done it to the Chiefs 2 weeks before. Now, at the same time,
but it was 21-3.
I can understand. They were kicking their ass. Mahomes had 3 touchdown passes. No,
Kelsey was like making guys miss, running over guys. Like this guy, Travis Kelsey, looks like he's 22 years old.
Ravel tweeted it.
I do think. I mean, I think it happens probably.
It's crazy.
But if you had money, you would get bored. You just think like, I'll just make $20,000 here and there.
Right. Just easy. Why would I? There's $10,000 sitting on my front stoop. I'm just going to pick it up.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the Chiefs imploded.
And then you get burned. And
I thought, look, over the course of the whole year, you remember there was some talk about is Mahomes any good? Is Mahomes? And I thought it was all pretty stupid. The same way I think some of these questions about, I thought it was pretty stupid. I put that game more on him than I did Andy Reid.
That last pass at the end of the first half that he threw to Tyreek Hill, one of the most insane passes I've ever seen.
At the end of the first half.
You have no timeouts. Now, you could argue, like, why did they design Tyreek Hill right there? Have a quick pass into the end zone.
Don't even give him the option.
No. Patrick Mahomes, after that pass, looked like a different human being. That was one of the worst half of footballs I've ever seen him play. Against, like, in a meaningful game against a good team.
Yeah, they look rattled that they were in the game.
Terrible.
They look like front runners.
They look today of the 4 teams by far the team that just imploded. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? Those 360s in the pocket, like, I'm the biggest Mahomes guy as there is, beside like his family and Andy and some of the staff members. But what does he do with the 360 stuff? You can't be doing the 360 stuff in the pocket. And it got him a couple times at the end.
Lost yards.
What are you doing?
Sacks. It felt like he was not playing free. Like, I don't want to be too, 1950s columnist here, but I thought he kept trying to I thought those specific situations were an example of a player trying to make perfect plays.
I agree.
And the Tyreek Hill play, and then he just refused to take layups.
Basic stuff.
Now, again, we'd have to see the L22. What was he looking at? But, I mean, just take 4 yards and slide.
I agree.
And they were, Joe Burrow outplayed Patrick Mahomes, right?
In the second half, for sure. When it mattered.
Yeah, but you just get more credit for what happens in the second.
He outplayed him, for sure.
And unlike, I think one of the sideline reporters
Joe Burrow had a pretty legendary day, I thought, just watching him, like, holy fuck.
Well, one of the sideline reporters even said, like, Andy Reid's message to the team, like, we were here a few weeks ago. Don't let it happen again. Like, remember, being up.
Said that a half?
Well, that's what the sideline reporter said. It
Crazy.
seems like a crazy thing that he would.
Well, I could see him just be like, hey, guys, we've been in this spot before.
Yeah.
Let's lock
Don't
in,
let it
stay
happen
focused, pedal to the metal. Just keep doing what we're doing. But remember, this team came back like, we got to stay focused here. I bet they talked about that during the week, right? Show these guys proper respect. And they did. They came out. It was like, God damn, the Chiefs look good. Yeah. I kept thinking, like, the Rams and the Niners,
don't want to play them.
No, that's an insane result, guy. The Bengals won. I wasn't just tweeting to troll or anything. I thought to every ounce of my being, and let's face it, anyone talking shit does believe that the Bengals were going to lose the game, and then they're up, killing them. How good did Mahomes look early in that game? Just like, They lost the game. It all switched that final play of the first half. That fucking rattled them.
Well, they looked because the rest of the game the way Klosky Tart looked after he dropped the pick.
Yeah, and didn't Troy even mention it's like it's hard to you got to forget that play. It is hard because you're thinking like, did I just ruin it? Like I bet Tart is just unconsolable in the locker room. And again, what does any coach say? It's not on one player. It's not on one play. The Niners didn't lose it on that play. That's where, to me, if that pick would have happened with 2 minutes left, was that on the final drive?
The Tart play?
Yeah.
No, the Tart play came before their
game-winning drive.
Yeah, the Tart play came on the game-tying drive.
Well, that would have been pretty big. But they easily could have punted it right back. There were 6 minutes to go.
That was the drive where they had the third and long screenplay that McVay did. My bad. It was that drive.
But they tied
the game. Yeah.
That's a big moment.
There was 6:49 left in the game when he kicked that game time.
Well, he doesn't have any timeouts.
So it's 17-14. So you get the pick.
He has no timeouts.
Then if you're the Niners, now
you just get one first down. That's 40, 80, 120. You're talking 240 seconds. Right? You do the math. Right? You're talking several minutes. Right?
Now maybe the Niners go 3 and out and punt, but maybe not. They get the ball at midfield.
He's definitely probably run it 3 times, right? Because they have no timeout.
And then here's the other thing. It feels like that was a first down play. First or second down play.
Yeah.
That feels like a gut punch to the Rams.
Didn't he get the first down the next play?
The next play was the Odell Beckham 30-yard play plus the penalty.
That was a killer swing there, guy.
Yeah.
So maybe, it sounds a little hyperbolic. I mean, just because who knows? I mean, why Tittle days? You're telling me like Ronnie didn't drop a pick in some of the, I mean, Montana, they didn't win every year for 20 years. They lost a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had moments like they've lost this game before, even before Harbaugh. Like they have lost. Steve Young lost. Bill Walsh lost. They lost in games. There had to be moments. But the more I think about it, they're up 3, no timeouts. Pretty big swing. One first down guy you're talking. Then they get the ball back. Let's say 4 minutes to go, down 3. And you're just down 3. It's a pretty big deal because the next play, the more I think about it, is
well, they're not on the plane going, well, at least we weren't the Chiefs today.
No.
No. Now, Burrow, I do think, here's a storyline prediction for 2022 football season. Like, are the Chiefs going to have a hangover after the way they just lost that game? I don't know if they will or won't, but that's going to be one of the storylines next year.
Yeah.
Are the Chiefs coming back with a vengeance? Have the Chiefs just lost a little juice since they lost the Super? Like, what's up with them? Because they kind of.
Well, then are the Bills storyline more positive than theirs?
Yeah. Like,
why?
Because Josh Allen's sitting there going, that should be us. Now I see how close we were.
But 13 seconds, they allow a field goal.
I know, but to me, they have not been at the mountaintop yet before, and I think that's part of it. Like, the Chiefs have won the championship.
They're still clawing.
And I think if you're the Chiefs, you're like, man, we could have like 3 championships by now.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it is.
Well, because if we just beat Brady at home, we beat the Rams that year. We don't. I mean, last year they got their ass kicked. But you're right. They could have. We already got 2. We're playing for a 3rd. At minimum, we're just playing for our 2nd, and we're going to be the favorite.
Well, the Chiefs also already kind of mail in some games over the course of the regular season.
Yeah, they got a basketball vibe to them.
So I think that's whereas the Bills, I think, are going to have.
But I also think the basketball vibe comes
kick.
when you throw the ball a lot. Like they just don't ever just take it. Running the ball takes a deep breath.
That's true.
Just he's not going to run the ball. Like we have enough evidence. He's calling plays like he's calling plays, and sometimes it really bites you. And part of it, and I thought this today, when you're going to let your quarterback cook, sometimes he burns down the kitchen. And Andy's thing is like, I think part of where the pushback on Russell Wilson cooking is because everyone's not. we all agree Patrick Mahomes is better than Russell, but it's like Andy just lets him be. Like, just fucking do you, man. Now, he calls some big plays for him, but he also lets him play within outside of the construct of the offense. But sometimes when you do that, when you get really off, I've never seen anything quite like that today. That was crazy.
I haven't seen him.
It was jarring to watch.
Yeah, because you kept thinking he'd snap out of it.
Because Joe just played much more under control.
Burrow is really under control. Joe Burrow, I mentioned this to you the other day, but watching the Montana doc, if I had to comp Joe Burrow, it would be Joe Montana.
Feels like Joe Montana was a better athlete at the same age.
Probably not as good an arm at the same age as Burrow.
Some of those throws on, old film looked not bad.
But Frank Alaco said Joe was throwing lollipops, that Frank DeBerg had a better arm. Frank DeBerg? Steve DeBerg. I was mixing up Frank DeFord and Steve DeBerg. But
I love it too when there's ever like a backup quarterback on like a famous team. And then if you're watching like the documentary play out or just like the way football usually works, that guy usually ends up starting for it happens with like Glennon's and this. It happens with all quarterbacks. Like it's going to happen with Jimmy. Like Jimmy will just DeBerg a couple years later is on the Bucks. You're just on these other teams, and
it's always like DeBerg in the doc. He's like, the truth is Joe's better than me.
So I was just glad. I was just happy to be there. It was a great experience for my life. Glad to be friends with him.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if Jimmy will talk like that when he's on like the Texans section.
I think Burrow has, similar physical skill set. Again, I say this as someone who did not watch. The Joe Montana mostly that I've watched, like you,
documentary,
born in 1985, is like the highlights on the doc. I think he kind of talks like Montana. I think they've got this same kind of comfortable with all of their teammates, leaders, kind of, what would be the word? Like just kind of sneaky, really fun guys probably to be around. Like very normal with everybody.
See his outfit today?
I think his outfit was incredible. They kind of actually have the same face when they like talk to the media. They don't take themselves too seriously. I watched the other day this YouTube video.
They're like good looking guys, but they're not like stunningly good looking.
But like their personality makes them endearing. I watched this video the other day on YouTube called Joe Burrow's Funniest Moments. It's funny. Like it's really funny.
From like even like LSU too.
Yeah, it's just like interviews, pardon my take interviews, LSU press conferences, just press conference quotes, just random. It's just Joe Burrow being funny, or Joe Burrow's funniest moments, whatever it's called.
No one doesn't enjoy being a friend with Joe Burrow.
I think Joe, and now Joe's in the Super Bowl year too. I think Montana and Burrow. I think now the other doc takeaway I had was I'm calling Montana GOAT 1.0 and Brady GOAT 2 from now on. I'm not, because I think Montana West Coast offense, that thing came first. When you come first, I think you just deserve a little extra when you did it first.
I would say this: if Burrow wins a Super Bowl, he'd have an argument like, I just beat Patrick Mahomes and I have a fucking Super Bowl too.
Yeah. And then he beat the Rams in LA.
Like, what do you guys want?
And not just
now, like he wouldn't even talk like that, but like that would be a conversation. Like,
but also remember the Niners were kind of losers when Montana showed up. The Bengals just won a championship with the Bengals.
Like Romo or Nance said, like they had the worst record in the league.
And they're the Bengals.
But Mike, they have been winning over the last 20 years.
But they have not been Super Bowl contenders.
No. Well, they never won a playoff game.
So I think Burrow.
They had never won a road playoff game in the history of the franchise till this year.
That's right. A text had never been sent.
And they've now won 2. No, that was the last time they won a playoff
game. Right,
they had never won a road playoff game in the history of the franchise.
Because they had home field.
Yeah, a couple times. Now they have been to Super Bowls in the 80s. They have been to 2 Super Bowls. Like, have the Vikings ever been to a Super Bowl? At least not like, I guess, the Raiders beat them, but not since then. Like the 80s, the 90s. So the Bengals went in 81 and 88. But I mean, they did have, I think Boomer was like, probably considered a top 6-7 quarterback in the NFL.
They had a Walsh guy.
Yeah. They clearly had some good players.